Hopefully, if Brian is the guy, like most of us believe that he is at the...
Real quick, part 2 of Christina Randall's reaction video that I'm doing. I did part 1 yesterday. If you haven't watched that, I suggest you watch that first. And then come back to this. But you can just watch this now. Doesn't matter. Here we go.
This point, it may not matter because they have so much other evidence, but when it comes to Dylan, they're going to tear her apart. And it's going to be painful. I can't imagine how Ethan's family feels, but maybe even all the families. Maybe they're not speaking out. I mean, what if she would have called 911? What if somebody could have been saved?
Yeah, I mean, who knows? They could have, someone could have been alive for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 up to 9 hours before, you know, the paramedics got there. You know, they could have been just laying there, right? Suffering. If she would have called, who knows? Somebody could have survived. That's all I'm saying. You know, if you agree with that, hit the like button for me. I want to see how many of you agree with that.
And I'm sure she's beating herself up about that. But I agree with the family. They need answers. Now,
and real quick, I don't think she's being beat up about that because I've heard from a different source that knows Dylan, you know, on a different channel that puts out good quality stuff. He said that Dylan is really not that shook up about all this, right? I mean, that's just what I'm hearing. He said Dylan's just still Dylan and just living her life, right? But who knows how she truly feels. But we know that she didn't go in and see the bodies how they were because she called her friends Hunter and whatever the other guy's name was, I forget right now, to go in and check for some reason. I don't know why she just didn't check. Or Bethany, when you hear your roommates crying and you hear all kinds of weird stuff, like, that just still baffles me. But yeah, I mean, if she didn't see the bodies like that, then why would she have all this trauma, right? I mean, I know she's going to be sad about losing her friends, right? She should be. If you're a normal person, you would be sad about that, right?
now, the sister-in-law, who is verified, means they checked to make sure this was really her. This is not just like some fake account pretending to be Ethan's sister-in-law. This is her. So then she goes on to talk about in the post is that the 911 caller was actually Ethan's friend.
911 caller was the friend who went in because Dylan called him over to because she was scared from what she had heard in the night. So if she was scared, why didn't she lock the door and call the police again? It's contradictory, you know? He went to Xana and Ethan's room first and then called 911. Why Dylan or Bethany didn't call the police once is the question. That is the question. I mean, this is what Ethan's sister-in-law is asking as well, right? And I'm sure Kaylee and all the victims' families are wondering this, right? I mean, I damn well sure would be wondering this if I lost a loved one to fucking Kohberger, right? Wouldn't you guys?
And this is something that has come out because we've been all confused about this. Like, wait a minute, somebody was passing out in the yard. Who called 911? How did it happen? Da, 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 da. So what it seems like happened from allegedly Ethan's sister-in-law is that Dylan gets up and calls Ethan's best friend and says, hey, I'm scared. Something happened in the night. Something is off. Can you come here? He comes to the house, goes into Xana and Ethan's room and finds them. He sees Ethan's body, who was allegedly laying in the doorway. He checks for a pulse. There's no pulse. He gets Dylan's phone and calls 911.
But here's the thing. Dylan saw Kohberger leave through the slider, right? And then she had to have just heard silence after that because, you know, there was nobody else in there except for her roommates that were lying on the floor, right? Or she heard whimpering, you know. Well, I don't know why she was scared after she saw with her own eyes, you know, the masked man at the time leave through the slider, right?
And this is also where it seems like the sister-in-law in Ethan's family is even more mad, and I can't blame them.
I can't blame them either.
And more stuff that had come out for a little bit of, this is going to be a little bit of a gruesome detail, is that Xana's fingers were almost severed off.
So, what does that mean, guys? That means she's trying to defend herself like this, right? And Koberger was slashing away, right? That's, in my opinion, common sense would tell you, if you put your hands up and someone is slicing at them with a knife, they're going to get all severed and cut up, right? If you have a different opinion, please, I would love to hear it in the comments.
And it was shown to be defensive wounds, which means she did try to fight for her life, to the point where she obviously grabbed the knife so hard that it pretty much almost severed her fingers.
That's what everybody would do, that, right? I mean, you're gonna try and survive. You're not just gonna let this guy kill you without putting up a fight. I mean, he already got through Ethan, who was at the doorway trying to, you know, save himself and Xana, right? I mean, he's not just trying to save Xana, he's trying to save himself too, right? So Ethan was gonna be fighting as hard as he could, but Koberger had a fucking knife, right? A big ass knife that was made to kill. A K-bar knife was made to kill. That's why the military uses them, right? And I know someone's gonna say, no, the K-bar knife wasn't meant to kill. Like somebody commented and say, you know, that the Army has never used you know, assault rifles. What? Like, what? That's all they use, dude.
You're talking bone, everything, muscle, everything. And it had to be a different type of noise than Dylan had ever heard there before. Which brings me to the next article that has come out. The article says that a person who claims to be Dylan's close friend's boyfriend...
Oh, real quick, I'm sorry for pausing it so much. Also, somebody in the comments said that they believed that Justin interview with Truth and Transparency. They said that even after Justin deleted it, apologized, Truth and Transparency deleted it, and it came out that it was all false. And this guy, you know, go look at the comment. Somebody, I forget the name, but and I wouldn't say it publicly, but you guys can go see for yourself. They're still believing it after it's proven that he was just making all that shit up, obviously to get attention, right? And also, one quick point. I don't care either way, but you know, the Johns Hopkins Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland, right? The top psychiatrist came out and said that with trans men and women, there is a direct correlation with mental health, you know, problems. So basically, he's saying just about everybody that is trans or, you know, something like that, has some kind of mental health issue. And that's not me saying that. I don't care, you know, I don't want to say here anything about, you know, oh, you're transphobic or you're making fun. No, I'm just stating the facts. What the lead psychiatrist at Johns Hopkins Medical Center in Baltimore, Maryland, which is one of the best in the whole world, came out and said. You can look it up for yourselves. But and the only reason I'm saying that is because Justin was trans and he was making all these claims. So it's relevant.
Revealed new details about the case. See, things are just seeping at this point. In the video, the anonymous person said that Dylan wasn't actually shocked that night or frozen. She was just standing in her doorway normally and yelled at Ethan and Xana and someone she thought was their friend to be quiet. She had no clue that anything was going on. She was new to the house and she did not want to be nosy, and she didn't get a real good look at the intruder. She thought it was one of Ethan's friends who was getting ready to leave and walking out. The person also claimed that the feds threw her under the bus and were aggressive with her.
Okay, so now we have a source that is saying Dylan was not frozen in fear, which, I don't know if you've heard, I did a video. A doctor actually explained that there is no such thing as being frozen in fear for more than a couple seconds, right? It's either fight or flight. You don't just freeze for hours, especially 9 hours, right? So Dylan wasn't frozen in fear, according to this, right? We can all read this, right? Why she didn't go and check if she wasn't afraid, that makes it just even more ridiculous, in my opinion. And questionable, right? I mean, what was she waiting for? What was she doing in all those hours, right? I mean, was she getting rid of something? Right? I mean, what else could she have been doing, right? I mean, what did she go back to sleep? I mean, that's just.
Which, I mean, I feel bad at the same time, guys, because she's a victim too, right? She was in that house. We've all talked about the whole Ted Bundy situation when he went into the sorority house. The ones that were left alive versus the ones who lost their lives, they're never the same. They still to this day have issues. I mean, you just can imagine what that will do to you. And these are young girls that survived this, and Dylan especially. But threw her under the bus, like she made some bad mistakes, and I do say mistakes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I guess technically she is a victim, but we just heard that she wasn't in fear. I guess she's a victim because she lost some of her friends, but like I said before, she didn't. As far as I know, she didn't see the bodies all carved up and like they were, right? The ones who went in and actually checked the pulses had to see that, right? So I don't know. If you have a source that says Dylan went in there and saw the bodies, please put it in the comments for me.
Because as of now, what we know, it doesn't seem like she intentionally did anything. But dang, girl, like I don't know. We got to know more.
Yeah, there's a gag order. We don't know everything yet, and I'm gonna say when there's a trial, because I don't think Kohberger's gonna confess. I'm gonna say when there's a trial and when Dylan has to testify under oath, we're gonna find out what happened.
The article goes on to say that Dylan actually mistook the noises, thinking that they were the roommates horsing around, and that perhaps all the noise that she was hearing was them being boisterous and still in party mode, because this was a college house.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were probably all drunk, right? I mean, but we saw Kaylee and Madison at the food truck, they didn't look too drunk, right? They looked kind of normal. Sorry. But, yeah, I mean, there's, when they were walking to the food truck, they were talking fine. Their speech wasn't slurred. But, I mean, but who knows?
However, if that is true, why did she call the friend the next morning to come over? See, things aren't adding up. Now, mind you, none of this is coming from the professionals. So,
yeah, her room is literally, what, 10, 20 feet from Xana and Ethan's room? Dude, it would take her 5 seconds to walk and check on them, right? But for some reason, she calls someone to come over to the house to check when she could just go and check uh, in 5 or 10 seconds. Does that make sense to anybody either? All right. I mean, I'm not trying to get on Dylan too much, right? But I have to ask these questions, right? Because I'm sure all of you are wondering the same thing, or most of you, right?
so we don't really know
And that's what everybody's talking about on almost every channel. So a lot of people are wondering.
this is coming from somebody that is
And I give the people what they want. True Crime King gives the people what they want.
supposedly Ethan's sister-in-law, who is saying that she called the best friend over, and then you've got this other article that is the boyfriend. So it's not coming from an affidavit, but we do have questions. And this is also why it is said that family members of the victims are pushing for the gag order to be released. This trial, it could take years for him to actually have his day in court. So does that mean that all this stuff is going to be circulating and wondering and unanswered questions for years?
I hope it doesn't take years. You know, I want to hear this evidence, right? And I'm sure a lot of you do, right? As soon as possible. We all do. I mean, it's human nature not to want to wait around for stuff like this, right? But they got to do it right. This is a huge national case, probably the biggest murder case probably in Idaho's history, right?
But then also
that I know of. I mean, I'm 33. You know, I don't know the whole history of Idaho, but you know, I haven't heard of anything worse than this, especially in Moscow, Idaho, right?
So is that going to affect the integrity of the case? Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is to make sure it is a fair trial. That way, the right person can get held accountable to the full extent of the law. So what do you guys think? I mean, I don't know, you guys. It's, again, I understand how the family feels and I sympathize with them, you know, because I would, as a mother, I'd be wanting to know the same thing. Like, why didn't you call? Why didn't you do this? Because what if somebody, one person's life could have been saved? But at the same time, you think, college house, loud, noisy, she's new, she doesn't want to disrupt anything. Maybe people in and out all the time. Maybe if they did illegal things in there, she wouldn't want to call 911 because she wouldn't want to get anybody in trouble. Like, you're thinking.
Well, that's an even stronger case to just go in the room and see what's going on, right? You know, go in the room first before you call the cops. Talk to your roommates. See if they're okay. See what's going on, right? I mean, why hide yourself in your bedroom? I mean, obviously you're awake. You're hearing weird shit, right?
Thinking like a college student, like you see both sides of it. I guess we'll find out in the trial. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below.
Same. Comment section. See, every YouTuber says it, guys. It's not just me, which some people also say in the comments. Oh, why are you telling people to you know, write in the comments? I wouldn't be doing my job as a YouTuber if I wouldn't ask people to subscribe, and if I wouldn't ask people to hit the like button and comment. I mean, I would be doing a disservice to my YouTube channel.
It's sad. It's sad either way. The families are going to always have the what ifs, you know? What if Ethan didn't go over there that night? Just what if he didn't? What if Kaylee didn't go back to the house that weekend? Because she'd already moved out. What if this? What if that, you know?
Whole bunch of what ifs, but, you know, we can't play the what if game, you know, because it happened, it's done with. We got to move on from the what ifs. We just want to know why now.
It's got to be rough. Let me know what you guys think down below. Other than that, thank y'all for being.
Well, all right, guys. That's part 2. And that's the end of this Christina Randall video and my reaction to it. I hope you guys liked this one as well. If you did, hit the like button for me. If you didn't, it's okay, guys. But until next time, your boy, True Crime King, out.